So Charlotte will be presenting on behalf of CBI. I'll just say a few words about Charlotte. She's a plant breeder research officer with 5 years of experience in project management, participatory research, and conventional plant breeding. She is responsible for coordinating international collaborative projects at the Department of Research and Specialist Services with the Technology for Africa Agricultural Transformation, that's TAAT, and that's a project, and then the Pan-African Bean Research Alliance, PABRA. Her career goal is to improve food, nutrition, and income security of smallholder households by releasing and disseminating biofortified, multiple constraint, resilient, and high-yielding common bean varieties. Currently, she's pursuing a PhD to further strengthen her experience in plant breeding and agricultural research. So, Charlotte, would you like to come and take my place?
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Charlotte Segeneza from Crop Breeding Institute. And today, we are going to talk about Crop Breeding Institute, the varieties list and list of contracted seed houses, early generation seed production models being used by the Institute. And also, I'm going to take you through linking breeding to seed systems. Then finally, opportunities for CBI and you, the stakeholders. So, Crop Breeding Institute is under the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water, and Rural Development, under the Directorate of Research, Education, and Specialist Services. It is one of the 7 institutes within the Crops Research Department. Our vision is to provide research-based technology information. Like today, I'll be sharing information about CBI, product support for increasing crop productivity, production, food, and nutrition security. So our research approach is a CBI value chain approach. We work with all the value chain actors across a crop. For example, CBI, we specialize in 16 food crops. In the slides later on, you'll see the crops that we work on. So there is value chain approach starting from the producer up to the end user. Then demand-led breeding. Here, the breeder works with the entire value chain. It's supposed to focus on what the market and consumer preferences. Product development. I'll take example of canning industry. They have their requirements. We are the breeders. We do the art and science. So we collaborate. Participatory variety selection. Here, there is involvement of farmers at a later stage. When we have our lines at the advanced stage, then we engage the farmers to select best varieties that suit their environment. Endorsement of varieties by value chain actors. For example, I'm a bean plant breeder, so my examples are more biased in common bean. Endorsement of varieties by value chain actors. We have the canning industry. They do their recommendations. They do the testing of our lines. Then they recommend for the release of a variety. Don't worry about this slide. I'm not going to take you through, but the previous slide was on our approach. And as breeders at CBI, we rely on conventional breeding, relying on phenotypic selection. We are not yet into advanced breeding methods. We outsource. So those approaches in the previous slides, when we are doing our work, we follow that. It's common. It can be done across all the crops, but it's not clear. The first point above there, product concept and market segmentation. Before we start, there will be market research. Then I will talk on climate resilience. This is our work. I'll just pick a few examples of crops. I will start with my crop, beans. Currently, climate change is real. The first 3 weeks, high temperatures, there was drought. So as a breeder, you need to focus. You need to address the challenges that is being faced by the value chain actors. For example, the farmers, they are the producers, and they are experiencing those high temperatures, shortage of water. So it means when breeding, the focus will be on maybe varieties that are able to escape drought. For example, going to maize, for lamb, because of climate change, it means they'll be focusing on developing varieties that are resilient to lamb. And the maize program, they managed to release a variety, ZS281, for those who come across that variety. Then we go to rice. I'm pointing a friend, she's a rice breeder. We go to rice. The wetlands, I will not comment. Are they effective as they are supposed to be? No, because of some reasons that we know. So as a breeder, she outsourced, she finds germplasm, like the nericas. They are upland rice that can be grown. Where you can grow maize, you can grow upland rice varieties. Then I'll talk of value addition in SME participation. We have, for example, sweet potatoes, orange plate, that are rich in certain nutrients. We talk of beans, nutrient enrichment of iron and zinc that can be made into kidney beans or flour. We talk of maize. We have pro-vitamin A enriched with vitamins, but we know maize, they are rich in carbohydrates. Then participation of the SMEs. For example, beans. We used to have bean flour in supermarkets. For example, Pick and Pay. There was a health food that was doing that work, but they wanted, or they lacked, adequate funds for them to continue. So we are no longer getting flour in shops. So in summary, as breeders or as crop breeding institute, our role is to address the challenges that has been faced by, I cannot say farmers, but by the value chain actors. Using that format, we rely on conventional. Some programs, they are lucky, they have funders that can assist them to outsource advanced breeding methods. Then in summary, what we do, we collect germplasm, either outsourcing from other international research organizations or collect locally. We characterize, conserve plant and crop genetic process for input into future crop variety development and distribution to growers, that is the farmers. Development of improved varieties and maintenance of 16 food crop varieties. The next slide you see the crops that we specialize in crop breeding. Then lastly, providing breeder seed to seed houses, and here there's NTS, and they have our Protea variety, which is being canned by Montgomery processors and also Holiday. Then foundation seed and subsequently certified seed for the market. As CBI, we aim at production of breeder seed. Then we engage seed companies, for example, NTS, to further multiply foundation seed into certified seed so that the farmers will have access to improved varieties. So these are the list of the 16 crops that we deal with at CBI, pulses, and the list, the oil seeds, roots and tubers, and the cereals. Then this is the list of seed companies that are multiplying our varieties. As CBI, we don't market. We just release our varieties. We engage seed companies for them to multiply and market the improved varieties. And our relationship will not end there. We track the varieties to see the performance, to see if farmers are using improved varieties. So we work closely with seed houses, getting feedback again from the seed houses, and also recommendations if there are any further improvements depending on the performance of our varieties. Yeah, now we have the product breeder seed. We have engaged NTS. So I want to talk about the different classes that are being adopted in Zimbabwe. I am the breeder, so we produce breeder seed and we end there. We engaged NTS to produce basic and then further apply it to certified seed. They need to be available in different outlets or shops. So, except for breeder seed, as a breeder, I have plant breeders' rights. I maintain my variety. But for seed houses, they are supposed to make sure their basic or certified seed is inspected, tested, and approved by seed services, which is at DRSS, our sister institute. Then early generation seed production is a crucial step in the seed value chain as it ensures the availability and quality of breeder basic certified seed for subsequent seed multiplication. Pro Breeding Institute, our role is to produce breeder seed so that the seed companies, seed companies may have breeders or not. They can get varieties of their choice at CBI. So for the production models that we use, we have on-station production of breeder seed. It has its own challenges. When CBI is affected, it means the availability of the breeder seed will not be enough. Then outsourcing breeder seed, the model has enabled CBI to meet the demands of seed houses. By outsourcing, we have two models. For example, rice, they use the person. They are promoting production of apple rice. So they give farmers a certain kg for example, Nerica 3. The farmer grows the seed, then pass on some few kgs to the next farmer. Is promotion. Then in common bean, we have both technical and financial support from Barbara Siat. So we are in a position to engage farmers. But since we want to maintain the genetic purity, the maximum a farmer can get is 10 kgs of seed, not above that, because we want assurance that the seed will maintain its genetic purity. So 0.1 hectares per farmer. So maybe the challenge is for other programs that do not have funding is insufficient funds to outsource breeder seed. It's expensive because you need you engage the farmers, they sign contracts. You need to do inspection, several inspections, so that you supply quality seed with to the seed companies. But now, because we collaborate with some organizations, CIMIT, through once a year, they reached us to have a collection of all our list varieties from different sources for them to be genotyped so that we have assurance that CBI is delivering the right product. And sorghum and millets, they released hybrids. So comment from the breeder was that they are working on putting in place a seed multiplication scalability model for traditional grains. So this is working in progress. Then we have national requirements that needs to be met. And our role as Pro Breeding is to make sure that the seed companies, they have enough or they have sufficient volumes of breeders so that the farmer will have access to improved varieties. So CBI organized product design team meetings for different crops. This is involvement of different stakeholders. That is the whole of value chain for different crops to identify market segments and defining target product profiles. Don't work alone. It's like repeating the approaches. So, for example, in common bean, we reached We wanted to see or to assess if there is demand, not basing on assumptions. So what we did was to visit 9 off-takers. There were 3, Canning, Olivine, Montgomery, and Keynes. Then the remainder were those who just pack and sell packaged grain. So this is positioning. We profile. So through profiling, there's a slide which shows the demand, annual demand from the off-takers. The next thing, now we know we have demand, is production of 8th generation seed, and there's gap. There's no seed roadmap. There are no linkages between the off-takers and the seed companies. Mondis is scanning protein, but maybe NTS is not aware. They continue to use protein so that they will continue also to produce protein as certified seed. So the solution is under way forward is to produce a seed, to develop a seed roadmap. We also track data collection to track performance in seed systems. Every year, to seed companies that are contracted by CBI, we reach them, taking information of the quantity, the variety of foundation and certified seed, so that we have trends. Is there a decline or a rise in production of foundation and certified seed? Then we sit down, what are the causes? Then they will be addressed. And here, the major focus is on seed. The seed companies, they don't have enough land, so they outsource, they engage growers, the farmers. So for the seed companies that we work with in Common Bean, we, like I said, we have support from PABRA. So we also do exchange visits on seed production so that farmers will see or learn from others. Form or strengthen more stakeholder platforms. For example, in Manure, it was launched some way back in 2015, where different stakeholders, they meet. Now the farmers, with or without CBI, they can do contract farming with different seed houses. So this is an example, because the numbers, they are the off-takers. It is a practical example that has work done from June to last year to December 2025, trying to find out how much bean is being required. Like I said, one of our mission in our mission statement is to provide information. So we selected some few, which not reach all seed companies that I'm applying the bean, just to notify them that there is demand. The off-takers, they require so much. And also during the engagement with the off-takers, we also managed to document the worries and interest. Going to Mtasa, they are good farmers, but their problem is they say we do not have market. You go to off-taker X, they say there's low grain supply. So the off-takers were saying, for a farmer with 5 buckets, 5 by 20 kg buckets, to him it's like huge volumes. 2, they are scattered. The off-takers, they hire 5 tons, 10-ton trucks. So when providing information to the farmers, we say, the off-takers, the market is there, but as farmers, you need to do aggregation. You need to work together, form groups, so that we have reliable off-takers. Otherwise, they'll get farmers, the buyers, the middlemen. You know what the middleman does? They dictate on price. Then now I've explained that we focus on 16 food crops. We have the varieties. We have engaged seed companies that are multiplying the varieties. So the opportunities for CBI and to the stakeholders is the first one, farmer-centered innovation. agro-processing and product diversification, strengthened agribusiness and SMEs, research and development partnerships. I'll take an example, collaboration, value chain and marketing linkages. I like that example. Montgomery processors, they are canning protein. There are two canning beans that they are using. They have Frontier, they have Jasmine. Jasmine has good canning qualities, but the farmers are complaining, say poor yield. Montgomery is saying, we like Jasmine. The farmers are saying, we don't like Jasmine. So those trade-offs, we find solutions with the industry. So the solution to this trade-off was that we provide material that are in the advanced yield trails. The canning industry select 3 best farmers to assess the agronomic performance. For 2, evaluation will be done twice. Let the farmer select the maybe best 5 lines that have good agronomic performance. Those 5 lines will be tested by different canning companies so that we come up with one. Then the last one is in resource mobilization and capacity building. Yes, as research, we need support. Digital breeding and data management systems, they need money. Infrastructure modernization at CBI. Currently, we are relying on conventional. However, we have good products, but also want infrastructure modernization. Staff training and postgraduate research. Our work, we need to keep on advancing. Then way forward, that table showing demand from the off-takers, from the industry. Then we find gap, and the gap is development of a seed roadmap, and CBI is fortunate they are going to get support from the FDB Bank to conduct, to develop the seed roadmap. It's being scheduled first or second week of April. Selected key stakeholders in the seed value chain will be invited. After developing a seed roadmap, we have again will be supported again by the bank to develop an investment plan. Then way forward, capacity building for farmers. They are the growers who want quality seed, and the seed houses, seed services is there to continue training the seed houses. Then capacity building of breeders. Strengthening is another point. Capacity building of breeders. Yes, we need support for us to continue with studies. Then resource mobilization and capacity building.
To just go back one second. Yeah, strengthening of partners.
Strengthening of partnerships. Oh no, it's yes. The last point is strengthening of partnerships. Let's partner. Let's work together. If we have a product of any crop from the 16, we are here to work together. If we want to improve any product, we can work together. That's our work. Then my last slide, opportunities for CBI and stakeholders. With this, I say thank you.
So what we usually do, we ask if there are any questions from members. Tony, then if you raise your hand, Tony will come to you with the microphone so that then our online members can hear as well.
Thank you, Madam. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have 3 questions. How we can record them. Okay, the first one is related to the the specific crops that you work with, and in particular, I'm interested in groundnuts and sugar beans. On the groundnut side, I've realized that there's a shortage of groundnuts related to the El Nino and also related to not necessarily having improved varieties that are suitable for the context, especially not the economic, but the economic environment that we currently have. So I wanted to get your response in terms of availability of groundnut material that is resistant to Zeta and like what we have in Zambia, the MGB8, if you are familiar, just to speak to that. And then on the sugar beets, I know there is a sugar beet variety that was assisted by Barbara. You know, I can't remember its name, but it was the one which was rich in iron and zinc. I think it was 1850 or something. No, 5. Sorry, yes, no, 5. Do you have something that came after that, or you are still relying on the 5? Speak to that. So that's the first question. The second one is on the EGS. My understanding of CBI was that you also are in the EGS value chain, but from your explanation, it seems you're at the breeding stage, and then EGS is done as per ad hoc with the seed companies. So if you could explain that, because I thought there is an important role that you were playing on the EGS provision, especially now that you are developing seed roadmap, beyond what private companies are doing to provide that base of EGS when it's required. The groundnuts right now, it's not available. So if you could speak to that. And then the third one was on outsourcing from other countries. Is it something that you could do or legally? Is there a provision for you to be able to assist in that in a particular season? To piggyback on the SADC regulations that you can cross transfer material from another SADC country in that SADC protocol. Something that you can do, because one of our projects that we are supporting, they struggle with groundnuts here, regardless of the protocol that was there. So I thought CBI would be best placed to be able to facilitate that process. Thank you.
So, posing those questions was Vulasani from Swiss Development Corporation.
I will start with the last one on outsourcing material. Like I said, partnership not depends on where you wanted to build the city, but Zambia. So we want to partner us with the crop. Maybe we can talk. Maybe already, maybe in we have been working with that organizations that want us to get seed. For us, it's very easy. Then the second one on beans, 145. Yeah, you know, the story of 145 is when it was released in 2010, because of the background color, farmers were used to sugar bean types. So there was resistance. Then as breeding, we released another one, but sugar type. Then Harvest plus our partner, their role is to create awareness promotion of released varieties. So the campaign was good to influence the farmers to take more fertilization. So we have a sugar bean, but because of that campaign, it's not being, it's too have more fertilization, and we are struggling to replace that more fertilization.
Then there was a question on groundnuts.
On groundnuts, I think maybe through the head we can. I'm being breeder, so I might give you false information through the
that. Yes, we have got some released varieties. We have got the likes of cultivars. Some think they are resistant. So maybe you can come to CBI, then talk to the groundnut breeder. Maybe we can give more information, but we have got release which have been released around 2022. In Jiva, the likes of Jiva 888, they are good varieties here.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Sorry, there's one question which I asked in terms of the value chain EGS.
Okay, our role, our mandate is to develop and release. And each year's, our class is leaders seat. Leaders seat to end the basic certified as the role of seed houses. So our goal is to supply adequate leader seed to the seed houses for them to subsequently apply foundation to certified.
Thank you, Shadid, for the presentation. My question is on orange maize, one of the biofortified maize varieties that you are releasing on the list. We are working with Harvest Plus to promote uptake of vitamin A maize. And one of the challenges that farmers are facing is limited seed supply. And I think over the years, it is not really taken off in terms of farmers being ready to engage the markets, supplying markets so that they are able to have payments. Any chance of you developing an OPV variety of orange maize?
Yes, upon request, because the things we are listing it for. But if we have maybe the farmers or any developmental partners that are interested in promoting that type of maize, then the breeders can do that for them. The question is, we are releasing that variety for where's the demand coming from?
Yeah, because the smallholder farmers, where we are talking about food security and nutrition security, I think it will be normal to have such a variety where they're able to really grow for a couple of years and then it's penetrating into their communities and then they are able then to adopt and later on maybe we can have market and more market-based approach in the production of the orange maize. Because currently there are constraints in adopting the orange maize in as much as they want it, but they seem not to have the motivation to purchase every year the seed for orange maize.
I think we take the recommendation, we take it up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charity, and I'm happy to welcome the climate change and to know like this. Is the that is important? What is because our experience with the ish 2 weeks dry spell, all of it is dry, windy. What is it?
Yeah, so for example, 045 is early. It's like a mechanism drought escape. The not say it's totally resistant that even without water you can get something. But it has that mechanism that it's early, so it can escape. It's by chance. Like the last 3 weeks, it's very hot. And the bean plants, they were affected.
Yeah, because now we are then saying, is it a crop that you can get without water? And it's like the farmers took a great risk. And now we are then saying, probably you need to grow it when you have enough water to supplementary irrigate.
For common bean, cannot say relying on rainfall. Some areas, like in Toto, Mrewa, they plant in January, trying to have it covered by rainfall. But in some areas, like in Tas, it's planting time right now, but under with supplementary irrigation. So for us to recommend there 0% supplementary with beans is by chance.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. It's very interesting. And as we're talking about biofortified crops, what other crops do you have in terms of biofortified? Because looking at the nutrition figures in the country, even though I think the situation is improving, but some chronic malnutrition persists, in particular stunting rates of kids as well. And this looks very much like more like a micronutrient deficiencies rather than carbs or protein principle. So I think biofortification would be a great way to combat this problem. And so I think Harvest Plus, for example, they work on different crops than the biofortified variety. Are you collaborating closely with them, or, for example, I think they also developed was millet, iron. I'm not 100% sure, but also biofortified varieties of millet. I think this could be also as a drought-resistant crop, a good way to improve the nutrition situation.
Okay,
And to really promote this as well. I mean, it's good to do the research one, but I think what it needs is large-scale promotion as well.
yeah, if you remember, in 2015, the biofortification was launched, and the Crop Breeding Institute also focused on that. How best can we also contribute to the government priority? That's where, but recently, but in 2015, we already released more fortified. So biofortification, we have quite a number of crops that are doing that. Almost every crop is trying to do biofortification. Biofortification is actually enriching. All bean types, they have iron and zinc, but by biofortification, we enrich, we increase the levels. That's the medium gain, iron or of zinc. So, for example, in sweet potatoes, orange fleshed varieties. In maize, she was talking of orange maize, it's biofortified. Even the white maize with pro-vitamin A, enriched maize varieties. Then in beans, iron and zinc. Currently, last year, wheat, they released is zinc or what? Zinc rich wheat variety. Harvest Plus is our party. Their role is promotion. We release and they promote. They are doing great work.
So just to end on that, with Harvest Plus, we managed to use another varieties which are more in place to be able to replenish and building. Those are CBI material. They are being promoted. Last year we released another variety which is which is
It's not, for me, it doesn't appear very vocal. I don't necessarily hear about it anymore. There was a period when it was much more visible, much more, approaching maybe also NGOs, their agriculture programs, and then we would take it up. What we did in the LFSP program, we had a number of biofortified varieties which were promoted, but this is not really happening anymore. Maybe within Harvest Plus programs, but how I didn't hear anything beyond this. And
we have the products, they need to be.
Yeah, it must go out somehow. Yeah, out of the research sphere.
Thanks, Regina. We've got a question there and then Lance.
Mine is a different question. I talk outside of the germplasm security. What is CBI doing protecting to on germplasm? Okay. I'm after you the germplasm security. What is CBI doing to protect its germplasm from spreading abroad?
from spreading abroad to others.
To other countries, yes.
To other. It's only that in terms of the seed industry, there are certain eggs which vendors, which are through seed services. It's not a one name vendor. And seed services is the organization which is there to enforce all those measures to protect our germplasm, the germplasm also for the planting state.
Just on the issue of the biofortified crops, it was a buzzword some years ago, and it's obviously hasn't got merit to it, but it's the market that's the biggest problem. Year 45 in the example for to be adopted, people had to do organization like that, had to do cooking demonstrations for people to actually taste it and see that it's better. Comparison to the normal sugar bean expected. very different. The yellow, orange one, Zimbabwe is traditionally white maize. So to try and promote the orange maize, we again distributed it to our schools. In some cases, I think the promotion was heavily discounted. And the farm or the customer were interested in it. So that is probably one of the biggest challenges, starting at the end of the value chain, to be actually appreciated.
Maybe those, if you're making some sort of provisions and sessions, you can first tell us the organization so that we can hear the distribution ways.
Very natural distancing.
Mark Benson, consultant. My question is regarding the palatability, the yellow sweet potato and the yellow maize. We all know that Zimbabweans don't like to eat yellow stuff. Going back, way back to the 60s, when Kenyan maize was around. So my question is this, if you can't persuade the population, and it's clear that it doesn't happen, if you can't persuade the population to eat yellow stuff, then can you breed the good things into the white ones? So you've answered that question partially by saying that you've got some biofortified white maize. But I think that it's something that we should be looking at, the biofortified white maize and the biofortified white sweet potato, etc. Because it's very difficult to change the mindset of a whole population. It's probably much easier to breed out the yellowness.
Yeah, it's like the sweet potato, for beta carotene in sweet potato. The beta carotene is usually linked to that yellow color.
Yes.
So it sounds like might be a very long term, but it's very challenging. Because some of those traits they won't get in. Yeah. So but we go there because of the technology. Read for the white, biofortified white. But if you want the beta carotene, usually beta carotene.
Yeah, so beta carotene is yellow and
Yeah.
so there's nothing much you can do.
Yeah.
That's another one. I'm interested in the partnership that we have with the FDB. I don't know whether you want to talk more on it because you want me to introduce it. The roadmap that you are partnering. In particular, with it, because as you were presenting it, there's a term that you wrote, the policy document. It's just a policy, or it's ideally it has to be, because this thing you have to update it every year.
Yes.
Because if it's something that is written down, vis-a-vis something which is on a computerized digital platform, then it would make sense. So if you could just talk to that. And also in terms of accessibility for the private sector and also for NGOs as well. I think that would be something that would be important, especially for those that are working on the different silver chains. Yes.
Yeah, for the FTB, we have 2 programs, wheat and beans. We are getting support from. We are implementing the TAT project. So the TAT is getting the funds. So initially, the seed roadmap was just for 2 programs, but the request from the ministry was to maybe we can start with 6 commodities. Then their idea was wanted to be a living document. Don't just don't want to develop a seed roadmap that if we get the let's engage the ministry, the government, so that they help in the implementation of the seed roadmap.
It's an online platform where to get documents. That's my question.
Online. Student. We are not sure.
Do you have any more questions? I've got one. You mentioned sesame as being one of your
Yes,
focus.
just
Whereabouts is that program? It's just been introduced. Or?
yes,
Okay.
just
So we're seeing the first year.
This year.
What stage? You mentioned characterization and this.
Yeah, last year we managed to do the characterization and collected more information post data question against the farmers. And doing the characterization institution of the ANC station.
So
So maybe we are in the second year.
okay.
Within because maybe 1 or 2 cents to sit in the food.
So the source of the sesame was from within Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it was within Zimbabwe, maybe we have to confirm with the breeder if the other materials come from outside the country. But I'm quite sure they collected so much material from Zimbabwe.
Thank you. So I think we'll call it a wrap. Charlotte, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So that sort of brings us to the end of the textbook forum, and we'll now move into our annual general meeting. So any non-members, you're very welcome to stay, but if you would rather not go through an AGM, you're very welcome to leave as well. Yeah, so we just give it 5 minutes while people move around, and then I need to check the register to see who's here as well. Thank you, everyone.